Live and direct. Oh, yeah, so. This was here and there. Oh, yeah, so. Anyways, alright. Shalom. First and foremost, want to give our praise to our power and power, for Hashem El Shai, for Hashem El Kodash. The one is unto our elders and apostles of great stone. And Shalom to all the brothers and more be pushing this word in sincerity and in truth, then that believe Shalom. For the Hebrew Israelites, Camp James, Jamaica, coming out here one. Coming home. Anyways, lesson is in the title, and salvation is only for the nation of what? Israel. Which, who are the Israelites? So that's a good question, or a good question, right? The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, right? The people of that descent, and wheresoever people get scattered, right, to the four corners of the earth, or will basically understand and believe this truly, or basically, as the Scripture said, the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the sons of the Most High, which that go back to Yasharala in the Hebrew, Israel. Israel in the Hebrew, Yasharala, meaning prince of the power. Right? And a prince is the son of a king, the Most High is the king. Isn't it? So they have the Christian dogma out there. The salvation is for everybody, come as you are. And then everybody, isn't it? So this lesson largely be covering about everywhere what is salvation? That I mean, I think again. Isn't it? Well, can we start with St. Luke, in chapter 1, right? Salvation is the deliverance of a people from a set of people. Right?
This is Luke chapter 1, verse 68. It says, Blessed be the Lord Yahweh of Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people.
Yeah, because this is Zacharias prophesying. Is the Scripture saying that he get the Holy Spirit come on him, I was understanding the scriptures really, and he start prophesying. Right? Because when he start prophesying, when you basically see a Yahushai, when Yahushai came on the scene, and what is Yahushai? Can you remember what Matthew 1 verse 21? Because Yahushai have a purpose. Is me can get me saying Matthew chapter 15 verse 24, I believe as well.
We still want to 21. Matthew 1. Alright, this is Matthew 1 verse 21. It says, and she shall bring forth a son.
She referring to Mary, and there's a show it out there, you see me? Joseph and Mary had sex, literally. We don't go what I go and my sex. But you understand, you see, they had sex, right? That's how Yahushua came on the scene, which I don't can understand that too, isn't it? Right. With the whole virgin birth madness. So anyways, she referring to Mary, right, the mother of Yahushua, who already recalled Jesus Christ. Go on.
Right. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua.
Right, which in the Bible right now, the name of Jesus there, but that was a translation error, because you're not supposed to translate nobody's name in no other language. The name remains the same. So the name in the Hebrew language there would be Yahushua. Right, so brother read it correctly. Going up.
For he shall save his people from their sins.
Because he shall save his people from their sins. Right. Who is Yahushua? Well, Mary and who? Mary an Israelite. Is it Joseph for who? Joseph for Israelite, and he gets nationality from Joseph. That's why they say, oh, thou son of who? David. Is it right? The lion of the tribe of who? Judah. What is Judah? Judah is one of the tribe of the nation of Israel. And he also says saved. So who basically gets saved from them sins?
His people.
His people. Right, which are the Israelites then. And well, we can just show what he sin really, and then show you who can get saved from sin. Because there's a key to show you who is salvation for, because we get saved, we get basically saved from our sins because we transgress, make we in the predicament we're in right now. Right, so they say we'll break the laws, them, the curse will fall upon us, and then we'll be sold unto our enemies, so slave man and slave woman, and then stranger unto thee, he shall get up above thee very high, he will lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. All the curses that we have faced right now. That's why we need a redeemer. Right, so we'll get what he's saying.
Alright, this is 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. It says, whosoever committed sin, transgressed also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
So sin is the breaking of the law. So who got the law to be able to break it? Right? Look at answer with scripture. It's going to say, if anyone speaking early of the Most High. Remember?
Yes. If anyone speak early, who got the law?
The laws.
Psalms.
So Psalms 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
Right, so all of these laws, covenants, right? The statutes, the judgment was actually given unto the nation of Israel. Right? Moses actually granted them and basically teach them unto the nation of Israel in the wilderness. Right? In India teach to every nation and say, oh, thou Edom, oh, thou Haman, Moab, and Haman. No. Israel got the laws them, and Israel break them. Can you give us a question?
This is Amos chapter 3, verse 1. It says, hear this word that Yahweh had spoken against you, O children of Israel.
O children of Israel, go on.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
Yeah, because of them in our wilderness will get the covenant, which consists of the laws them and the promise. Go on.
Right? You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Yeah, all our sins, right? Our transgression. Iniquity means sin upon sin, I believe. You see me? Right, so when I go back to what I'm saying, Luke now, right, he said, he has revisited, right, just go for sure.
All right, St. Luke chapter 1, verse 68. Blessed be the Lord, power of Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people.
For he has visited and redeemed his people. And then give me the multiple question to that 15 of the verse.
Alright, this is
Matthew chapter 15, verse 24 said, but he answered and said,
he referring to Yahweh, who already know call Jesus Christ. Right, so he must speak, right?
Right? I said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right, so he is not sent, but meaning only unto, right, that so them speak but then, right, only, right, unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Them alone him get sent to, nobody else. Because that's his purpose, and it's his name, Yahushai, meaning he sees. Right, we must save his people from their sins.
And even when he sent for the disciples, they don't send them to send them to the lost sheep of Israel. As it said in Matthew 10 and 5. It said, 10 and 5, it said, these 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles and into any city of the Samaritans. Enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
The lost sheep of the house of Israel, because we go off as a nation. You see me? I never know them. Even back then, a lot of them never know them. Some know them are Israelites, some was basically dwelling among pagans or heathens. You see me? And basically knowing them are Israel, some don't know. Like now completely lost everything. You see me? Fulfilling Jeremiah Jeremiah is 17th chapter, verse 4. So we have discontinued from our heritage. But now basically get brought back on because salvation is coming. Right? Can we have
Isaiah 53, verse 6, all we like sheep have gone astray.
Gone astray. If we basically gone astray, it means that you can pick up some other things. Some other paganism. Other nationality. We have people calling themselves Gentiles now. You see me? Oh, we're Gentiles. Really, rightly said, because there's two Gentiles, which largely in that one lesson them are going to as well. You see me? Because we know the Bible say basically Gentiles that get saved, but actually referring to a different type of Gentiles. But that's another topic. So we know we basically straight from the scriptures, so it really says Israel alone and get saved. And the Bible don't contradict itself. So if the Bible says Israel gets saved and then it says Gentiles that get saved, that means it needs to be clear up, which laws are going to die for the next lesson. But now we have proof from the scriptures that Israel alone is the top word. And just to reiterate again, they say, so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, we are the true because Israelites account in the Bible. And then if you really believe in this word and understand it, this is in the spirit, basically the scriptures resonate with you, you're an Israelite, regardless of how you look. I want to do complexion here. Right?
Let's finish this. It said, all we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all.
Which is Yahushua, he take upon himself our sins. That's why he nailed upon the cross. Right, punished for our sins.
The quick one. This is Isaiah 45 verse 70. But Israel shall be saved in Yahweh with an everlasting salvation.
Right, but Israel, no other nation to get this up, only Israel. So when you go back to Luke,
back in Luke 1 verse 69, verse 68. Blessed be the Lord of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David.
Right, which that horn of salvation referring to Yahushua, in the house of his servant David, showing that he was a Judite. Go on.
As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began.
Yeah, because that was always the prophecy. Is I mean, even when you're reading through the Gospels, is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they actually tell you, see, that you have Jews which are Israelites, but then they are waiting upon the kingdom. Even when he died and resurrected in Matthew Acts 1 verse 6, he said, is it now we are going to restore the kingdom unto Israel, unto us? Because that was what the prophecy was said for. Daniel prophesied about it, well, the prophets have prophesied about it, not the list them. So read the Bible, you see clearly. Listen.
Let me just read this quote out. Acts 1:6, it said, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
Right, which is the kingdom of heaven, the rulership of this earth.
And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father had put in his own power.
Yeah, but if they're wrong, you think you want to tell them straight up? So now, bad man, I know Israel alone this thing for. I know who alone this thing for. No. In himself said, I'm only sent to the dark sheep of the house of Israel. So called the Christian dogma is either Yahushua and know when come from, or they a lie, you see me, or a Christian's wrong. Which evidently the Christian dogma wrong. Because the Bible is something completely different. Right? Israel is only Israel alone will be saved. Because even when you're analyzing history, right, what is really the kingdom of heaven? What is really salvation? Right? The kingdom of heaven will basically be the rulership of the nation of Israel, having all these nations in subjection. So if the promise we ruling these nations, right, how them all get saved, how them all rule to whoever rule if them are part of the kingdom of heaven, that makes sense?
Reason?
Go on.
Isaiah chapter 2 verse 1. The word of Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Which is the mountains they referring to government. And the government body of the nation of Israel go to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, as the scripture telling Revelation the 7th chapter, 12,000 from the tribe, the 12,000 from the tribe, they list them all, the governing body. Then basically rule that it's a government, right? That'll be what exalted above the governments of the earth. Means that them are the on top, them are rule things.
See me? And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
All nations shall flow unto it. In other words, them are the directions from Israel. The scripture tells us out of Israel, the laws them are before it. Because the laws them are in the Bible, you know, Christians love to say, we're done away with and Christ come on in bloodshed and they can do us all with bullshit. Isn't it? Right? The laws in the kingdom of heaven will be executed. We, the Israelites, are perfect, we're not going to falter, but we are forced the nations and to keep them. Right? Go back to can hold up our question in Revelation 2. We can start about verse 25 or 26.
This is Revelation 2 verse 25. But that which he have already hold fast till I come.
But which is a promise. We have faith in the promise that we have, which we are hold fast unto. Right?
And he that overcometh and keepeth my words unto the end, him will I give power over the nation.
Yeah, so if you endure unto the end, you say what? you get power over the nation, but if the nations them all get saved, or you get power over them. That makes sense. Is the scripture telling Psalms 2? Is in why do the heathen range? Is in the people imagine of being king. And the scripture says what the Lord said, ask of me, and I will give you the heathen for inheritance. The Hawashai got those heathens for inheritance. And we are giant ears, as the scripture says in Romans, the 8th chapter. Giant ears of the Hawashai, so basically inherit the heathens them as well, because they were made to be our servants. That's the promise. When you read the promise will get made unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is right unto the 12 patriarchs. And I will descend from them. That's what salvation is about. Right, which part will finish Revelation no question? I think you are Isaiah too. Alright, finish Revelation no question.
Alright, Revelation 2, verse 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of the potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star, and he that had an ear to hear what the Spirit said to the church.
Yeah, which them churches were actually Israelites. Jews, is in which Jews was comprised of the Jew, is in the shouting for the word of Judah, which is the chief tribe of the nation of Israel. But back then there were 3 tribes dwelling in the land, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Mainly because there was scattered other tribes among them. So James could say to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. But majority of the other 10 tribes were over here in the west. You see me? Right, so we can go back to Isaiah.
So it says, verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob.
That many people referring to the heathens. Right?
And you notice he's making a possessive statement. He never said the God of all nations. He said the God of Jacob. Jacob is Israel. You understand? Showing to say, oh, Israel is the one who is going to rule when the kingdom of heaven is here. You understand?
That's what the kingdom of heaven. One other name for the kingdom of heaven is the kingdom of Israel. That's it.
Right? So he said, house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Right? And he shall judge among the nations. Who shall judge among the nations?
Israelites.
Alright?
And we are judges. That's how we see people say we were gods. I need the definition of the word gods is from the Hebrew hala. Al-Hayim comes to gods. Right? Would be judge, or ruler, right? Or power.
See? And shall rebuke many people. Which rebuke means to correct. So all the nations under the laws and statutes of the Father, we have to basically rebuke them, we have to correct them and put them into submission.
That's why Scripture says we'll beat them with our hand, and rule over them with our hand, and vessel, as a vessel, shall they be beaten by the pieces.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Out of, O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. See, so all wars of a government, because every other nation has under state of dictatorship. Dictatorship under who? The nation of Israel. So the nation of Israel needs to be saved first before all other can be basically arrayed in the earth. Understand? Before all other can be established in the earth. Understand?
Go back to the room.
As the accent and the nation of Israel was to be saved. It says Jeremiah 23, verse 7. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that they shall no more say, Yahweh liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but Yahweh liveth, which brought up, which led the seed of the house of Israel, realizing that it's not saying the seed of any other nation, just the house of Israel. The house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land.
So you can say all salvation is based on for Israel. The inheritance of salvation belongs to Israel. The scripture tells us, no more shall it be said, great is the Lord that delivered the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. See why? Because that was the first great deliverance for the nation of Israel. But the deliverance which is about to come up will be greater than that. You see, great is the Lord that delivered children out of the land of the north, which is starting with beginning in America and all the lands that will get scattered. You see me? And all the little deliverance they will speak that has been spoken about in the Bible pertain to the children of Israel. When you read the book of Judges, all the book of Judges is talking about is when Israel fall and when they get delivered by a judge who was established by the Heavenly Father. You understand? So now we're in at the time when the Heavenly Father basically delivers us with a greater deliverance than all of those before. You see me?
Then Christians might say, oh, that's why you have the New Testament, which the New Testament just means covenant, and the new covenant was actually an extension of the old covenant in the nation of Israel. So we all get saved, and when I go off no more, is in look how I keep it as 100%. That's the new covenant.
There's a new covenant of US reads.
Well, again, I'm read this. This is on Romans chapter 11, verse 26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, they shall come out of Zion, the deliverer, and shall turn away unrighteousness from Jacob. And up top we really see, up top we speak about Gentiles as well, but I would say the next lesson has to expound basically on what really the Gentiles them will be saved as well mean, which we'll get us there. The Gentiles are referring to Israelite foreigners, but as I said, that's a different topic.
And so this is Romans 9 verse 3. It says, for I could wish that myself were cursed from Mashiach, or my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption.
The adoption, right, which basically means to bring back into the house, salvation, one.
And the glory,
and which the kingdom of heaven, one.
And the covenants.
And the covenants, you pluralize it. It's meaning say old and new. Old and New Testament. Salvation is in the agreement, right? The covenants.
Probably when this one, you don't look up words, man. If you look up words, you realize that your covenant is New Testament and agreement.
Right? And the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises.
And the promises, what the promise? So we'll basically inherit the land.
See, and he said the giving of the law. See, if we are given the laws, man, we say, yo, we are the ones who sin. See, my brother read the scriptures already say, yo, Israel is the one who transgressed. See, therefore, he will punish you for your iniquities. See me? Therefore, who need deliverance? We, because the blessing and the curse was placed upon us. That was an agreement between us and Heavenly Father. Say, yo, look here, may I give you some things to do. If you don't abide by them, see, may I give you the blessings. See, if you don't, may I give you the curses. So therefore, it needs be for the Son of the Heavenly Father come and deliver us from those curses, man, and renew the contract between us and the Heavenly Father. You see me? That is all that is happening, man. He never renew not between other nations because we never found anything with another nation before.
Thanks to the brother read the precept in Amos earlier. You only have unknown from all the families of the earth. This is nobody else. The scripture tell about the other nation then.
2 Ezra chapter 6.
Yeah, one in Isaiah. Yeah, one in 2 Ezra.
2 Ezra 6 and 56, right? It says, as for the other people, right, which also came of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are nothing. See, in our scripture, and I think Isaiah 11 tells you, come like a leaf drop at the bottom.
Yeah, Isaiah 40.
40.
It says, as for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle too, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
In other words, you give a shit about them.
Very, very
It's when they speak, you oh, crap, there's some shit. No. Who was there anywhere to go to the nations? And who are the upper man? Israel. You tell them about it. That's them about brush the Edens them.
See, because him tell you, say, yo, look here. I've given, roughly paraphrasing, basically, you're further the wrath.
Oh, we can get it.
See me?
You're further than affliction.
Son, understand?
Sorry. Because if you tell us him our soul we have to them. I think it's Zechariah 1:15. It's Zechariah 1 verse 15. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they held forward the affliction.
Exactly, when they held forward the affliction. So all of the nations and the most have a brush over for us, yo. You see, because we are the ones who are at the bottom of the chain according to what the curses mean. It tells you, we them on the low state and all the other nations around us are cutting up very high. You see me? So who need deliverance? Who needs salvation? We need salvation. All of the other nations, the scripture does tell us how they must rest. You see, them in other land, them have them governance, them have them representatives in the UN. But we don't have nothing. You see, we only have the salvation and grace of the Heavenly Father, which is greater than what any one of them could ever have.
And when you read the book of Zechariah, it's really going on showing how the Moses have basically destroyed these Edens for them built to the nation of Israel. Let's skip to chapter 2, verse 8 in Zechariah. It says, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory of the east sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. The man destroyed them because of that. We can go up to Isaiah.
It says, but in Luke chapter 1, verse start at 68 again, blessed be the Lord who of Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people, and had raised up an horn of salvation.
For the word redeemed means to buy back. Zine means to buy back. Zine because in the book of Joel, chapter 3, it tells you how
the Grecians.
Exactly.
And Deuteronomy 28, verse 68 said that. So they sold unto their enemies, and no man now redeemed. In which that word buy there actually mean. Because that's how you set us free. You buy back in freedom. Like a payment people slave now. So you don't have to free, you have to pay. Or basically, if you borrow some money and can't pay back, then you get sold and basically him full that debt and work.
It's in our captivity. We're not free yet. Verse 69, and had raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began.
Yeah, because that's what all the prophets prophesy. Salvation in Israel. Even Moses. Even Moses prophesied
that we should be saved from our enemies.
From our enemies. Yeah. Right, and Psalms 03 lists the enemies them.
Israel have enemies?
Yes.
I thought the Christians believe that Israel don't have enemies.
Let's I want Bible. This is Psalms 03 and verse 1. It says, help to keep not those silent, O God, who will not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Them hate me?
Them hate the Most High though. As I'm going to walk against him people. He said, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacle of Edom and the Ishmaelites, which Edom and the so-called white race, Ishmaelites and the so-called Arabs of Moab, and the Agarenes, who know more about who the so-called shiny Agarenes and the Hamites. But and you can't tell the list them out, yo. So if you're interested, they can just read those. So tell you. So we have these Edens basically come up against us. Right? Which if you look up the Georgia guys soon, they say they want to depopulate the earth down to 500 and maintain to 500 million. And Esau goal, isn't it? After the mourning of my father is complete, then will I slay my brother Jacob, Esau the so-called what it is. And the scripture says we kept him in wrath forever. Right? Who do you think you have Revelation 12 verse 12? The devil is come down unto you having great wrath because he knew you have got a short time. Waiting will cost the time of Jacob's trouble. Esau merely, chiefly, will come up against the nation of Israel. That's what Yahushua will return. Right? And even Daniel chapter 12 and 1 tell you, it's at that time, shall even Michael stand up. Is it because they're going to be a great trouble? So them have to come fight for we and deliver. That's how we need deliverance. Is it COVID-19? Don't worry about that, yo. It's going to tell you about the great interaction upon them that fear the Lord. Right? Them all be like madman sparing none. Make 70 years look like a walk in the park.
Does it mean them are push to vaccinate people?
If you don't know vaccine are poison.
Exactly. Does it mean, and we already know as a nation of Israel, we know by experience, by history, say anything medically induced by them people or introduced by them people, it never work out good.
Like the STD experiment.
It never work out good because scripture does tell us them hate you. You see me? And them say, yo, let us cause them not be a nation. You see me? Which line up with the curse? Tell us, yo, we shall be a proverb and a Bible. You see me? Right now, all of the other nations, them look on us like shit. You walk up in them store, them, are you them are pre? All when they them and a teeth, them blind. Them just want to make sure say, you not.
But in Luke 1 verse 71, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us.
Exactly, yo. You see, all of them, the Arabs, the Syrians, them, Moab. You see, right now, Moab give people them hell in China. You see me?
See, I left each from Sri Lanka box a school girl. You see me? I call her teeth. Right. You see me? Right. Even Jacob work for these so-called Chinese and them can tell them treat them bad. Right. Even the Edomites them, how them treat them bad. Crackers, the devil himself. Right. How them treat the body in the tourism industry. Then them all go, them treat them really like when them do pretend. The scripture says never trust an enemy. Them go and go crouch it. You see me? And pretend like, yeah man, everything good man. Yes, what? Yeah man.
Yeah man, everything hard man.
I have experienced that when we go down to remember the Elamite and the pregnant lady.
Oh, you can't. Yesterday, Jacob worked for him, right? A pregnant lady is an Israelite woman. Yesterday worked for him and she said, oh, I'm tired, you see me? When one day again, some Red Bull, a pregnant woman, Red Bull, is one tired.
Wicked man.
So she understand because, who gives a shit about these heathens?
Couple of years ago, them have on news with this BJ over Japan. Zimington selector for them over there, and because them have them work over there, them start to beat him. Start to put hot cigarette butts on him hand. You see me? Big thump, wrap up cloth on them hand and thump in their knees, jump to the knees, well big, like baseball bat, like baseball.
That's why we need deliverance. We need to take out of the hands of the enemies, out of these nations, these heathens.
And the man even make a report say, yo, before them give him the contract to come over there, come DJ for them, everything nice, me a smiles, all teeth, bright like the sun.
Yeah man, everybody like Jamaica.
And when them reach over there, be a darkness in get tell him they are beg to come back and they beat the crap out of him. So we need deliverance.
Yeah man. I'm going to have a pay, you know. No matter if you say most of that, you see me?
Says that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised.
Who the mercy get promised to first? Abraham, then Isaac, and then Jacob. That's the mercy that we have a rule. We will take the land of Canaan. Is in our rule of earth. That was the promise. Right?
And when the Mosai made the covenant, it says the Mosai basically told Abraham that in his seed, not seeds.
Yeah, and Paul say it again. He said, as of seed, not of seeds of many, but of one. Remember that seed of Abraham come to Isaac, and in there that which I wish I can receive it. Yeah. And yesterday Isaac, yesterday the blessing go down from Isaac to Jacob. You see, as I tell you, say Jacob yesterday supplant Esau and received the blessing, which was all in the spirit. Right? And Esau selling birthright for a long time, so you shouldn't tell him daddy. You see me?
It says to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant.
His holy covenant, the agreement. Say, so Allah have mercy upon me, will set you up in the land, and it's not about of doings. It's about your word is to be fulfilled.
Right. The oath which he swore to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear.
Without fear, because now we not fear. Yeah, COVID-19. This is majority of the virus is attacking 70% African Americans, and the virus is actually killing 80% males. All bullshit. Is you see where it's coming, where it's going. He's coming up against our people. Right? All nations are in confederate with him. Now you will lead as a sellout. Now that one. This is Joel 2 verse 32. It says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. As the Lord had said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. It's all about the deliverance of the nation of Israel, which only elect is the nation of Israel will be delivered from this on this side. Right, that's why in this precept in Romans 11 chapter, it's like, so all Israel shall be saved. Because the wicked poor people that they cut off and die on this side when they want to come back in the kingdom. Isn't it?
Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers ye are gone away from my ordinances, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, said the Lord of hosts. But he said, wherein shall we return? But the nation of Israel have returned. You see me right now, this is a part of the gathering of the nation of Israel. You see me, and because the Lord changed that, that's why I'm basically going to fulfill the promise which he made unto our forefathers. You see, and he will do the glory. You understand?
Scripture say Isaiah 45, Israel shall be saved by everlasting salvation. Just a quick one to back up when we bring out Acts 2 and 21. Say, whosoever call upon the name, says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Ye men of Israel, hear these words.
That's right.
Yahweh.
Scripture also say the name of the Lord is dreadful among the heathen.
Right.
See me? So now the nation can call upon the name and be delivered. See me?
This is Isaiah 10 verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. In truth, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. And follow up with this chapter, Isaiah chapter 11, verse 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an enzyme, which Zechariah prophesied this, and say, you see them visit and redeem his people. And even Isaiah, his son, when he named Emmanuel, right, that was basically for a sign. I see you said, behold, a virgin shall conceive, isn't it? Basically, and he shall basically call his name Emmanuel, right? God is with us, God is with who? The Israelites, them, right? That reunification. It said, which shall stand for an enzyme of the people, and to it shall the Gentiles see which the Israelite foreigners, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time, as we already spoke about the previous deliverance, about the physical Egypt, right? To recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Papyrus, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Amath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim, which that's the promise of basically the second covenant, isn't it? Which basically the whole 12 tribe come back, isn't it? And basically be delivered, right? And keep the laws 100%. That's salvation, that's deliverance, right? That's the saving basically what we look for.
See me? I know some people stubborn, see me, and tough-headed, and they will have St. John chapter 3, verse 16 in their head.
Well, then you know the topic. St. John 3, verse 16 can be another breakdown. I don't understand.
A simple thing still.
Well, the scripture says, what if somebody not believe?
See me? A simple thing we can just read the two precepts and we'll clear it up right now. St. John 3, verse 14. You see, and as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Ask yourself the question: Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. Who will lift up the serpent unto? You see, let's look. This is the book of Numbers 21, verse 7. It said, therefore the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord, because what?
Continue.
Alright, so okay, I'm start on verse 4. It says, and they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to come past the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against God and against Moses. Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water. And our soul low this bread. And the Lord said, and they beat the people, and much people of Israel died. Therefore, the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. So look here, as Moses lifted up the serpent unto the nation of Israel, which the nation of Israel was the ones that transgressed in the wilderness. Seeing them basically cursed their heavenly Father. Seeing them and then basically through Moses, they were delivered by their heavenly Father. So when you turn back to St. John chapter 3, it tells him, and as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. You see me? So the Son of Man basically become that serpent of brass right now unto the nation of Israel. You see me? Unto all of us who sin. Continuing. That whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Whosoever is good, whosoever is about the children of Israel. You see me? When it means whosoever, is referring to the children of Israel. When you read the book of Joel, chapter 2, last verse, you see me? It tells you see me? That the whosoever can be used in reference to a specific people. But people don't know English, so they make the whosoever be in reference to everybody. Everybody in the world. Which is not
simple. Okay, suppose we say, whosoever over there so is in and take up the remote there, basically and give them 10 grand. Can you imagine a man from that door come and want to take up remote and say, oh my money?
We never did that.
But you don't live there.
You don't live there, sir.
Inside you.
You see, you have to hey, that this agreement that of you. So they read in the context to the nation of Israel. See, the analogy that is being used with Moses is referring to the nation of Israel. Therefore, this saying right here is in reference to the nation of Israel. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. See me? And that world right there is according to an array of people. See, a body of people, which is the nation of Israel. See, because the word world is basically translated into 3 Greek words. See, cosmos, alpha, so you have to know which one is being used here within the context of the scriptures here. Understand?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, obviously, the only begotten Son said also, you see St. John 4 and 22, right? It says, we worship, we know not what, we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
Salvation is what?
It is of the Jews.
It says, there was the point, Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we are to obey God rather than men. The God of our fathers, whom he slew and hanged on a tree, him had God exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. Right? This is St. John chapter 11, verse 51. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest, that here he prophesied that Yahweh should die for the nation, what nation? Nation of Israel, right? And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of Yahweh that were scattered abroad. Right? Deuteronomy 28, verse 64 on down. You tell you that so Israel gets scattered, Israel need that deliverance. We need to be brought back in one fold and be delivered. Right? That's why Scripture say what? Send, right? And I'm sending him certain angels, right, to deliver him elect from the 4 corners of the earth, because we get scattered all over. That's salvation. We going off, we returning, right? As we'll quote priest of one time, let's get it real quick in Deuteronomy chapter 30. Yeah, that's what I want.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. It says, "And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahweh thy power hath driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, and all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy power any of thine be driven out unto the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Most High power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the power thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers.
Right, that's the promise, right? Go on.
Right? And the power thy power will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayst live.
Which is the second covenant, right?
Right. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments which I command thee today.
Right, and the rest of this say, if you want, you can read it down, but it's today, but they say, man, put the curses upon the enemies, them, which are the heathens. So if the heathens, they might get the curses, or they might get saved. You see me? Right, questions to the so-called Christians, you know, there, you see me?
Question to scholars out here.
Right? As we see the eating hair, not knowing the scriptures. So, yeah, we can serious one like that. What about things Christians go off on everything? Right?
Curses will be placed upon the heathen. See, if they will be saved. Understand? Because the curse is upon us right now, we have faced hell mentally. See me?
Yeah, but the curse, I didn't believe in my Christian.
Exactly.
But don't.
No.
Right? But,
This is Isaiah 59, right? Verse 19, it says, pointing to verse 20. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion.
We have one. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1. Come and let us return unto the Lord, for he had torn, and he will heal us. He had smitten, and he will bind us up. So him put with down, and I mean, as well. Because he is the Lord and in line up. He is called a promise. He needs to fulfill that promise. Understand?
This is Jeremiah 50, verse 33. Thus say the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Right? That's the reason we need a Savior. Verse 34. The Redeemer is strong, the Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet inhabitants of Babylon. Inhabitants of Babylon is America. Right? Destroy America and deliver people. Right? Deliver people and destroy America. Right? As you were saying, basically, give him a shout, you see me, right? Battle cry, so-called UFOs come, which is that we can go in as well, for sure, it's the chariots for UFOs, but it's really salvation for the nation of Israel. Only Israel don't know to see it, but again, who are Israelites? So-called Negroes, Native Americans, much Latinos, and what they will look like if this truth, the Bible reside with you, is if you believe, is you understand. Yeah, one Israelite, you see me? So you don't look like one Chinese man, you don't look like one white man, or it doesn't matter. You see me? If you believe, God's going to get saved out of here. Speak about the innumerable multitude in Revelation, the 7th chapter as well. You see me? Then basically get delivered, right? And it look like, oh, wow, we get scattered among all nations. So of course we will look like them. If me have sex with a Chinese woman, you see me? Of course we can come out here looking Chinese, but that change nationality? No, it doesn't. Right?
You have a sprint out here in the Olympics, basically, run for China. My father is a Jamaican and my mother is a Chinese lady.
Alright, yeah.
And he must speak Chinese like the rest of them, I never know. As in, all in skin is like, it's fully darkish.
I think one tennis woman as well.
Yes, yeah.
More that much about me about it. You look her up one time.
Look on Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's father is Asian. Look on Blake Griffin's father, dark as hell. His mother white. See me? And Blake Griffin also. Understand? Saying no matter your skin complexion, as long as the spirit of the Father is in you.
That usually go back to the Gentiles, which is a topic we want to get to next. So that's lesson. Hope there's a very final until like over there, giving our praise of course to Paul, how about Shem Shai, about Shem Kakodash. The one is into heaven, and Pastor Great News to Shalom to all the brothers and our sisters to tune in. Is the main hope and says, very fun until like over there. Shalom.
Shalom.